so Chief can.
We live now. Peace and blessings, everybody out there.
I don't have my
We are
phone.
live. This is Exodus Radio. Myself,
All right.
RJ Mahdi, here live in Senegal, West Africa, and my illustrious co-host, Sister Ya, who's live from Ghana, West Africa right now. What's going on, Sister? How's everything?
Oh, brothers, I've been running today and made it home just in the nick of time for the show. It's always that way, but it's rarely, I ain't gonna say never, rarely a moment of just not having anything to do. But I'm not
Right.
complaining. I love what I do, man. Let's see, what did I do? I had to get up this morning, take a brother, dealing with, getting ready to purchase some land here in Ghana. So we went to meet with the landowner and the surveyor from the Lands Commission to go over some documents. And then from there, I had to go into Accra to meet a brother from Cape Coast to pick up somebody else's land indenture documents. And then
Nice.
from there, I had to go to somewhere so I can scan somebody's site plan, so because they're getting ready to start building using my company. So
Let's do it.
it's
Let's
been
do it.
a day, been working, but I'm not complaining, man. Helping my people get
Nice.
here and do everything and get settled in. That's what it's about. I get nothing but joy out of it. Made it home
That's
just
right.
enough time for my 11-year-old to get off the school bus. We was meeting each other, but it's all good.
Man,
How about
it's a
you?
lot going on, and we're gonna talk about it all today. Exodus Radio returns. We're back on the air Tuesdays, and we're gonna be talking about today some of the things that's going on, not just here on the soil, but in the Pan African world. Obviously, a lot of things are hot topics right now, just buzzing, and so some of these things affect us, and some of them don't. And so we try not to dip into the things that don't really have anything to do with this mission because it's tunnel vision, right? But a lot of things do actually interfere and get in the way and have, considerable impact on what we're doing and and the ways that we communicate and connect with you all. So stay tuned today. We're going to talk about that. We also have Chief Foday today. He's talking about his heritage. This guy is finding all kinds of parts of his family, his lineage. So we're gonna talk about that. Like I'm super
Interesting
excited.
stuff.
We've been following that. Yeah, yeah. Dude is like really digging in and finding, his whole historic family and seeing where he fits in. And I'd like to hear from some of you today. Also, if any of you have traced your lineage, if any of you have traced your heritage to the continent through African ancestry or any of the other programs, go ahead and drop a comment below. Let us know where you from. What's your tribe? Also, if there's any first, second generation Africans who are in the diaspora or who are tuned in, even if you're on the soil, drop us your locations and your tribes. We're going to talk a little bit about, just connecting with our people back on the soil. We got folks coming back, finding their lineages like every day. It's dope. So let's talk about that today, guys. Y'all drop your locations, drop your tribe, tell us where you're from. Go ahead, sis. What you was about to say.
Well, before we get into that, since you brought up tribes and things, I haven't done the DNA test for that reason. It's a philosophical reason. My aunt has done like the general one, but not the African ancestry that tells you the tribe, right? Like one of your tribe, because it can only tell you one. It can't tell you all.
Right.
If you understand mitochondrial DNA, we have too many ancestors, so it can
Well, I
only tell
think
you
you
about
take
one of
two.
them,
You actually
right? On
take
your
a
mom's
maternal
side and one on your
test.
dad's.
Yeah, you take two. You take a maternal
Yeah,
test and
that's
then you
that
take
one
a
on your
paternal
mom's
test.
side, one on your dad's side.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It can tell you about one ancestor on your mom's side, and it can tell you about one ancestor on your dad's side. But you have
right,
millions of them, millions of
right.
ancestors. It can't tell you all of them.
Tons of
But
them.
but
I, that's the
right.
deepest part about it. They say in 10
So
generations you got four
yeah, and
thousand ancestors.
exactly, exactly, thousands. Only a few generations back, it started getting into the thousands, right?
Right,
So for me, I was like, okay, and while I don't know one specifically, And that's all that those tests can tell me is one on my mom's side and one on my dad's side. I just philosophically feel like, you know what? I don't want to get tied down to identifying with one particular one.
Right.
If I do that test and it says, okay, you are from the uh,
Bantu tribe, for
trying to
instance.
think, Bantu or the Yoruba or Airway or whatever, then I'm going to focus so much on that one and forget about the fact that there are tens
That's
of
right.
thousands of
Right.
others. You know what I'm saying?
So many others.
That came together to make me be who I am. And then
Exactly.
I feel like it may end up, I might become tribal, like other
Right.
continental Africans end up
Right.
being. And I don't want to be that. I want to look at Mende people and say, those are my people. I want to look at Bantu people, those are my people. The Sankoa people in South Africa are my people. Everybody, Angola, those are my people. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
that's philosophically why I just said I claim the whole continent. I want to be
You have
what
to.
you call the real African, and that I claim all of it.
Right.
I claim
That's
all of
right.
it.
Because I mean,
You
really,
know,
that's really the truth of the matter is that, especially if you were born and raised in the West, chances are you have
but
many
I do
different tribes
understand
in
that
you.
some people
Right.
want to know something.
Because I mean, you like you said, you can trace it back to one, particular ancestor or another, but over the years, over the centuries, we're talking centuries,
Right?
all of our people have been mixing
Exactly.
through the transatlantic slave trade, even through those who didn't come through slave trade. Even if you came from Africa to the U.S. through exploration, right? We know there were Africans that came before Columbus. You still mixed. We even hear a lot of our brothers and sisters who have indigenous ancestry, and then they say, "Well, I'm not African." Well, that's not entirely true. Chances are, if you're dark skinned like us, if
Right.
you look black like us, your indigenous great 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 grandfather probably mated with an African woman, right? And so you still have that black African blood in you. And so those things mix so much over the generations, right? We know of all types of ways we mix. And so now, for anybody to say I'm not African is completely ridiculous. But also for anybody to say I'm only a specific tribe or only a specific, type is also ridiculous. We can't be. I don't think there's
Right.
anybody who has that, you know,
Right.
deep of a bloodline outside, especially if you're from outside of the continent, for sure.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. But I do understand our people from the West wanting to know at least something, because that is something that has been taken from us, is not being able to know something. So I'm not against anybody who wants to know something. It's just a choice that I made for myself, that I claim the whole continent and everybody in it. All y'all
Yeah.
my people. Period.
Y'all all about family.
uh,
That's right. That's right. Shout out to everybody shouting us out in the comments. Sweetberry32. Shonda says she's inbound to Senegal from Miami right now. Gregory X checking in. Chef Jang. We got our Waller family over here checking in on the soil. Who else we got? Shirley Spence, African Realty or Reality. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, this is Exodus Radio, and so we do this program as a way to bring some updates to the Pan African world about things going on here on the ground. Sister Ya and I are both repatriates living on the ground in the African on the African continent. We both have businesses here. We both have our families here. We're both members of what is known as the Exodus Alliance, a six-member organization, including the State of the African Diaspora and the Black Star Action Network International. You guys are going to see Foday here shortly. Even the UNIA ACL. But our organizations all came together to keep the Pan-African community having resources, having connection, having opportunities and options within the African continent. And so we're here to drop some jewels on you guys, talk a little bit about that today, answer your questions. You guys can feel free to drop us questions in the comments. We're going to try and get those. We're also going to hear from some other repatriates, meaning some other returnees, African Americans and others who've come back to the soil or on their way back to the soil. And we're going to talk to them about their journey, how they are making it work, right? So if you want to get some real life perspectives on this whole Pan-African movement, right? Is it really happening? Is it really sustainable? Are people really doing it? How are they making it happen? That's what we're going to talk about on today's show. So make sure to share this video, comment below. If you find any value in today's program, make sure to go to the link below, madeinafricaproject.com. We have several ways you can get involved. The most important way right now is buying a brick. We are doing a free home giveaway. And so if you purchase a brick, an engraved commemorative brick on our website, you will be entered to win that home. We'll talk a little bit more about that throughout today's show. But first, we got our third co-host, Chief Foday Ajamu Mansaray, boss man over in Sierra Leone, also a returnee, also a member organization of the Exodus Alliance. And he's our resident historian. This is the guy who's got all the keys to history.
Oh man, I try a little bit.
Ching.
What's up, sis? How you doing?
What up,
King?
All right, how are you?
I'm good.
Man, welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be here.
Let's jump into it. So, man, first of all, we've been following this whole, exploration thing that you've been on lately in terms of like really digging into your ancestry and just kind of finding out those different pieces to the puzzle. It's really looking dope, man, to see you find these members of your family and dig like how are you making this happen? And like,
man,
what's the outcome now?
It's crazy, man. I always tell people that I came from a family that came from a very small place, and everybody is interrelated. And ever since emancipation, our family has been close. Since before emancipation, we know our roots back to the early 1800s, mid 1700s in South Carolina. So, usually you don't have people in the movement come out and say, "Hey, I'm a Gullah Geechee." Usually. But it's something that I was raised up in terms of it being part of my ethnic identity. My mother was Geechee, my family was Geechee. They talked that talk, I ate that food. I made them visits to South Carolina. I'm still tuned in. Food. We have our reunions, everything. So I think that because when I began to be more open about my ethnicity, I was already here in Africa. And people would ask me, how do you relate to Sierra Leone? How are you here? And I'd be like, well, I'm a Gullah Geechee. And in my family, my mother, she was fortunate. She was born in 1945, but she was raised in the house by her great-grandmother who was born in 1877. So a lot of information, just family talk, just saying like, my dad was a Smith before he changed his name to McClellan. And she told my mother that, and everybody else in the family didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So information passed down because we had that kind of direct passage. And my mom would just be wanting us to know what's going on. Every time we go down south, she put out 100 cousins. That's my cousin like this. That's my cousin like that. So, it's not a fake or attention grabber. That's why I really don't talk too much about my family. But we're not rich. We're not famous. But I would consider us a traditional, prominent family in the Black American community in terms of our achievements in the clergy. We have so many ministers, so many churches, so many cemeteries. Like my ancestry is documented. I can find them. And so back in 2005, my family had their first reunion in like 30 years. And people came from everywhere, Philly, New York, Florida, everywhere they came. And we were fortunate because we had now people who are now ancestors that was in their 90s, 80s, and they was just talking stories and just implanting into us that we have to know who we are and carry it on. For me, I was in my young conscious days, what I would say, you know, but it made sense to me. So at the same time, I had become a student of studying African history. So I try to like always put my family history into the broader context of African history. And so I've always been like trying to do that. So after hearing the stories and getting my mom to tell me over and over again, um, later on, like, Mom, let's sit down. I got my pen and paper. Tell me what you know. Okay, who is that? Okay, where did they die at? Okay, who's their kids now? I did all of that with my mother before she passed away and before I came to Sierra Leone. So I know for sure that I am a Gullah Geechee. I know where my roots come from in the South. But there was one thing that passed down that, you know, nobody could verify, but it was something that we always passed down generation to generation, and that's that our ancestor was a Mandingo. And so I grew up in a family that said we Mandingos in Africa. And, you know, watching Roots and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, all right, whatever, maybe not. But my mother was consistent with it. And over the years, I began to dig into records using simple free platforms like FamilySearch.com, Ancestry.com. They have so much information there. As long as you know names and places of your ancestors, you can find death certificates, birth certificates, military records, and things like that. So later on, especially since I've been in Sierra Leone, not being able to go visit family, not being able to just pick up the phone call and talk to people for hours, I started to really go into the records now. I started to really learn genealogy. So I began to take all the stories and begin to match them with actual events, actual times, actual persons, actual grave sites, actual documents. And I found my pedigree on my mother and my father's side to go all the way back to 1815, at least documented. I have free ancestors in Pennsylvania, and I had enslaved ancestors in South Carolina. And so that's my heritage. That's who I am. So at the end of the day, I got involved also into this Gullah Geechee heritage preservation process. You know, my family had our first reunion in Charleston, 2005. So just having that, and me already being a student of linguistics, me already knowing the heritage and the connection between Gullah Geechee people and Sierra Leone was the reason why I chose Sierra Leone over any other place when I chose to come home. So I had that ethnic self-awareness inside of America before I came here. And that's what made me choose to make connections here and come here. You know what I'm saying? So let me fast forward for you now. In 2016, my wife and I, as well as another brother, we were able to go to the government here and have a discussion with them about opening up citizenship to Gullah Geechees and to people who got DNA testing that proves that they relate to the people here. Right. Now, I've never taken an African ancestry DNA test. My small sister did for our maternal lineage, and we found that our maternal lineage to go back to Bamileke of Cameroon, you know? So we do have that root. I just found that out last year. And then, of course, we still have this lingering Mandingo, like where are we Mandingos at? You know, as you know, I've been able to come and reconnect with Mandingo people. I've been adopted into a family. That's why I carry Foday Jamu Mensere. And I've even been coronated. You know, the status that my people gave me in America to represent them here, the Mandingos here said, yeah, we recognize that status. You need to be able to do that work here. And they put me through a traditional process to get crowned. I'm not an honorary chief. I'm active. And so having done all that, I still had no way of knowing for sure that my Mandingo come back to Sierra Leone. And I had no idea. I know Gullah Geechees come back to Sierra Leone, but I had no idea about the Mandingo part. Right. And so recently, I got in contact with a cousin who's down in Orangeburg where my family from. And he was just teaching me so much about family history that I didn't know all the way back. And then he told me, he said, man, I took an Ancestry.com test. And he said, he found some of our cousins, Vicky and other cousins like that, to confirm, like, yeah, we family. And he said, man, I found one other person too from Sierra Leone. And I was like, what? Who you found from Sierra Leone in your Ancestry.com test? Because that's for lineage, that's for relatives. And he said, well, it says she's a 5th to 8th generation cousin. I was like, damn, what's her name? He told me her name. Her name is Fatia Mojet. She's of the Mende ethnicity. And I've been able to talk to her for the first time yesterday. He was able to talk to her. She moved to America in 2013, the same year I moved to Sierra Leone. She took the DNA test in 2018, consciously looking for family. And so I don't have an African ancestry.
So y'all missed each other.
Yeah, so I don't have an African ancestry test saying that I'm a Mende of Sierra Leone. But I do have my first cousin.
That's crazy.
Who took his test.
That's wild.
Who went back to a person that is a Mende of Sierra Leone from Mandingo stock. Man. And so now it's like, damn, my mama didn't tell me nothing that was a lie. And I was moving off oral story a lot. But now we actually know the surname, the people. I'm about to meet the parents here in Freetown. They live very close to me. Very close. They live like 5 minutes away from me. Wow. So I could have seen these people 100 times already and never know, like, this is my blood relative in Freetown. And so we're going to connect. They're going to take me down to the village, tell me their family history. I'm going to recite our family history for them. And hopefully what we want to do is document this, you know. The sister right now is in
Isn't crazy?
So the sister right now is in Virginia. And my cousin Roderick, he's gonna make a trip up there to meet her. And I'm going to meet the parents here as soon as possible. And the crazy thing is that, you know, when you're here in Africa, you can ask yourself every day, why am I here? What is my purpose? Like, I know that America ain't shit. I know that I came here to get away from the oppression. I know that I want to be a part of African development. I want to be home. But what's my purpose here? What's my calling? Why me? You have to ask yourself that when you're here. And this was one of the confirmations that, yo, I've been out here 9 years just having oral tradition and connecting on a Pan-African basis and choosing Sierra Leone because of my Gullah Geechee heritage. And now I have a cousin. I have a whole lineage here of Moijays that I never imagined would pop out, but I have family here, man. I have blood lineage here.
Man, that's wild. Hey, man, it's so inspiring. Every time you share one of those new family members and a little bit about their history and where they're from, it throws me into like this, you know, mentality of like I'm reading a book, you know, and you just want the next chapter. You like, man, I want to know more about him.
Yeah. People asking me to write a book, man. Everybody wants my ideas.
I mean, because that's the beautiful thing about digging up history is because the stories of our ancestors should have some type of bearing on us, right? You know, directionally, right? We should be able to take from their stories and understand certain thought processes. Why did they migrate from here to there? You know, why did the family split up at this point, right? Why was this person born, you know, out of wedlock? Whatever, right? There's always a story, and then those things tend to come back, right? So, you know, history is something that once you get into it, it can get a little addictive. You want a little more.
It's powerful, bro. It's powerful.
Sure.
But you know what? Currently, you know, we're waiting for the fourth conferment of citizenship here in Sierra Leone. Okay. And they have a requirement that basically fits only African ancestry. So no other DNA genetic company results would mean anything in terms of citizenship here, because African ancestry got here first, and they set the requirements to the African ancestry's testing. So Ancestry.com doesn't test X and Y. It tests your whole family. It tests everybody you relate to. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so on one hand, you have a test that will tell you a tribe and a country. And then you have other tests that will tell you, hey, this is your third cousin, this is your fourth cousin, your fifth cousin. Yeah. So in my case, it's going to be interesting. I just watched a video where Blair Underwood did the same thing. And he went back to Cameroon and linked up with the cousins that he found on Ancestry.com. Yeah, I just seen it like, wow, okay. And I know a lot of people reach out to me because I do genealogy. They always reach out to me and say, yo, man, I found a relative in Sierra Leone. I found a relative in Guinea. I found a relative in, you know, Guinea-Bissau. And but one fascinating thing is that because I was here on the ground, I was able to intercept that. I was able to say, oh, What, cuz? Mende, okay, hold up. So the way that we contacted her was that she had an old Facebook page, and he snapped her friends list. It was 7 friends, and one of them had 2 friends with me. And I said, hold up, let me contact this brother and see if he knows the friend that I have in contact with him, and see if he can help me. Man, brother turned out to be a Mandingo brother named Mohammed Sharif, and come to find out, he is the like ex-boyfriend of her sister, and her sister's in America too. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. It was almost like everybody was moving in the same direction anyway, and now it just like it just all clashed together. So if I wasn't here, we would not have been able to connect with these people like this. We probably would have had to go through some middlemen. Probably would have had to go to some government or ask some people to help us. They would have put their price on it. But because I'm already here and I understand the culture and the traditions, I found out that the place where we're growing 120 acres, Moyamba district, is the same district where my family is at. And I had no idea. So so this year we grew 120 acres in the same district as I just confirmed my family to be connected to. And I had no idea about it. I was just moving off of, doing the right thing for the people.
Absolutely. So look, on today's show, we're going to talk also about this big.
It seems divine, doesn't it?
Huh?
It is. It is. It is. I think all of our stories are.
We're going to come back to it right 1 second. We do want to bring up our sister here. We're going to talk to one of our Exodus consultants based in Ghana. And, one of the topics on today's show that we wanted to talk about was the blackout that social media experienced yesterday. Tons of us were unable to communicate. Tons of us were unable to, do what we do. And one of our team members out there who are very knowledgeable in the social media space, one of our homegirls, the African superstar, is here checking in with us today. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hello, Exodus Radio family. Big shout outs to all of you. Good to see you. That was quite a riveting, story that you told us, Chief, about your heritage. And it's really, really encouraging because many people deny our connection to the continent, or they're ignorant about it, or they just feel no tangible evidence is available to trace our roots. And you're actually, because me personally, I've never completed a DNA test, but I'll tell you what, that was one hell of a supporting argument to get someone to maybe participate is you can actually connect with people real time that share your family lineage, and I actually think that's kind of one of a huge crutch of the diaspora, is not being able to tangibly trace your roots and be able to locate your history. So this is a great tool to actually help that happen. And I mean, you have an actual account. So that was an excellent information. So thank you so much for sharing that. Big shout outs to my homegirl, Sister Ya, Ambassador. Big shout outs to RJ Mahdi, my brother. I love you guys, and thank you so much for the invite. I don't have a lot of time today, but I did definitely want to stop by and chat with you guys for a bit and that kind of thing. So, but you just missed your shout out, Mr. RJ Mahdi. You missed your. I just shouted you out.
Can y'all see me, or is my screen frozen? I can't tell.
That's all right.
Yes. For those who don't, back here in Ghana soon though. What, in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I actually, dang, look at you, I blew up my spot, man. Yes, I am currently on travels in America. I did come to visit with my family back in Columbus, Ohio, kind of ahead of some of the impending changes that are going to take place regarding entrance and exit from the U.S. So I wanted to avoid those things. So I came to visit now instead of dealing with problems later. So yeah, I'm here until the 17th when I will return back to Ghana. So yes, I'm here currently in America. Indeed.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you.
Thank you so much.
Right. And we do thank you for stopping by. Hey, we didn't do a show on this, but I need you to tell the people who helped you get your residency in Ghana.
Yes. Look.
Let it be known.
She gotta have a plug. I will definitely attest to, I will say, obviously those of you guys that are viewers of my platform know that Ambassador Sister Ya and I are very good friends. But she is a very resilient person, and she provides a lot of resources for our people on the ground. She personally assisted my sister and I in getting our residency permit. It took us a little while because at the time we were getting our permit, some of the requirements were changing like in the midst of it. But as always, she is diligent, and I personally can vouch for some of the services that she offers. So those of you that are interested into Ghana specifically, she's a great touch point to help you with getting, visa extensions, or getting your residency permit, or doing land. She's a genuine hearted person. That's what I really respect. Aside from our friendship, she's, we have to talk all the time about some of the associated costs. But Sister Ya is absolutely passionate about bringing our people home and helping them transition and things like that. So yes, she did. St. Kofa Repatriation did assist in my residency permit. And, she's just a wealth of resources altogether. I often ask her, do you know what to do? Do you know this person, that person? She's very resourceful. Big shout outs to her, as well as many other people in Ghana. Ghana is our home. We love it. It's the right decision. I know I asked her what we were going to kind of talk about today. And that was one of the topics was, how do you feel about your decision? Both she and I moved to Ghana, returned to Ghana for her, but I moved last September. She moved a few weeks ahead of me. And so we've celebrated our first year back in Ghana. I absolutely, know that it's the right decision for me. I don't regret it. I've had my ups and downs. Some of you guys watching this will know my platform was recently taken down by YouTube, and I've had to start a new platform. But I still unequivocally stand behind the decision to be on the continent. I just think that it is the most promising option for many of us. Some people can't partake. That's a personal decision that you make. But there's a lot more space for growth and opportunities on the continent than what we can expect in the West. We have, countless blueprints of the lives of people that have gone before us in the West, and a lot of their outcomes. And if none of those are what you want, then you can take the gamble of seeing what potentially you can do on the continent. And people that are here representing Exodus, all of us embody that. You have people that are connecting with their roots, like Chief. You have people like RJ that's creating, an extensive, empire in Senegal. You have people like Sister Ya that is becoming a very powerful resource in our community, and you have people like myself who represent some of the finer things and some of the options and a lot of the fun that you can have on the continent. Being yourself, my vibrant clothing line, africansuperstar.com. You know what I'm saying? So all of us are really exercising a lot of things that I know personally.
Say that, sis. What's the clothing line, man? Speak that up.
Yeah, I just recently released my new clothing line, African Superstar X Ghana. It is a tribute to Ghana. I celebrate some of the Adinkra symbols, which are traditional Ghanaian symbols. I've selected some of my favorite ones, like Giami. It's very popular in Ghana. It means God is omnipotent. The Nokonsen Konsen, which means harmony. The war horn, which is to be alert. And the swords, which is actually part of the coat of arms in Ghana. I love Ghana. I love our people. And I think that we should be creative in ways to communicate our love, and those of us from the diaspora, I mean, we are very, very innovative. That's one thing about how people perceive, for instance, Black Americans. You know, we are very creative, we're trendsetters. We should use our skill set to turn the light onto the continent, you know, and that's precisely what I'm doing with my clothing line, for instance. So, yeah, you know, all these things I think personally would have been extremely challenging for us to implement living in the West. You know, certainly what RJ does in Senegal, building projects, farming, you know, those same opportunities are not present in the West and accessible to our people. Certainly tracing your roots, you know, Chief wasn't able to do that until he was on the continent, you know, and learning about his roots and integrating with his people and his heritage and things like that, and connecting the dots. You know, that's something that is very difficult to do. So, you know, the possibilities are endless. So, you know, I would say emphatically for me, but you know, I knew ahead of time moving to the continent was the option. It was the move. I've lived in America, I've lived in UK, you know, so for me it was an obvious choice, and it still is. Again, it's not for everyone, but it's for a lot of you. Some of you, definitely the people that are called, you feel the calling, you see the opportunities, you know that you have the tenacity to exert them maybe in a way that other people don't. Now, at the same time, you know, Sister Ya and I moved to Ghana last year. Other people have gone and other people have had to return back, you know, or other people have found that it's not suitable for them. You know, it's not meeting their needs, or it doesn't have whatever they're looking for, and they've had to return to the West. Others are just as committed today as they were when they made the move, or maybe even more so. So that's up to you to kind of determine. But yeah, definitely for me, you know, it's the obvious choice.
For me and mine,
Yeah.
in the motherland.
And in regards to, I know Sister Ya, she dropped off here, but she wanted to talk about, you know, the outage, the social media outage yesterday, and how that kind of impacts those of us that have a lot of businesses online and things like that. I would say that you should use your platforms to create physical opportunities on the continent. Having an online presence is well and good, and for a lot of people that are in this space, it's your beginnings. You know, me included. I've used a lot of capital from my YouTube proceeds to, you know, build my website, do marketing for my website, obviously get known and acquire more customers. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of physical needs that are on the continent. You know, and so I think that in a sense of building your online presence, you should also be considerate about establishing something in your local, you know, new environment. So, because for instance, like let's say that out of 5 of your streams of income, you know, 4 of them are online. And then you experience something like yesterday, where, you know, for hours it was down. I mean, it impacted me. I had a very important meeting that I missed because we couldn't get in contact with each other yesterday and things like that. You know, that can drastically affect you. You know, let's say the shortage lasted for a week and not just a few hours. You know, that could be substantial lost revenue. So these are things that you live and you learn. If you are on this space, then that should also be kind of a wake-up call. I know, for instance, since my channel was taken down in April, I've made, you know, a conscious decision to have a backup channel on a independently owned website, which is blackjunctiontv.com. So I have a channel there, and I've been depositing a lot of my media from my YouTube channel on there. So for instance, I would still have access yesterday to a social media outlet, you know, if YouTube wasn't working or StreamYard wasn't working or whatever. But I highly encourage our people to look into the physical options in your environment: buying land, farming, building, creating a business, infrastructure, schools, roads. You know, these are things that will generate physical income for you on the continent. And like I said, you can use social media to pivot. You know, if you're kind of like, okay, right now, all I have is my YouTube. All I have is my Instagram that's bringing me money. that's fine. Make sure you are diversifying those proceeds. Okay. If you're living off 100% of the money that you're generating, you are in big trouble, because if it goes down, then you don't have anything to fall back on.
Right.
So that's definitely something to consider. And I actually think personally that it was an exercise. I think
Yeah.
that it was, um, to see how people would fare. And as we see, everybody's addicted to their social media. People were complaining, people didn't know what to do.
Oh
People
yeah.
don't, people didn't actually know how to get in contact with, that was the problem
I
that
think
I
I
had.
think I think what was a big effect of it. Sorry, because I think what was a big effect of it was in much of the developing world, apps like WhatsApp are people's only means of connection,
Right,
and so
right.
it's not even
And I
just
had
the
like
social media aspect. Like that's like
the
people's
meeting that I
telephone.
had, the person that I had the meeting with, we always communicate via Facebook Messenger, so I didn't have their number, they didn't have my number, so
That's
it was
real.
like and then there was no WhatsApp, so you couldn't also, so like I said, it should be a wake up call to go into preparation.
Yeah.
I know there are
So
alternative websites, apps like Signal and Telegram that some people
Yeah,
have.
Telegram.
Uh, right, so you should, if this is your business, okay, then you need to make sure that you are planning ahead and learn from other people. Okay,
Right.
don't wait until it comes into your backyard to be a problem. You know, See what's happening to other people. If you're a Pan-African in this media space, know that people are censoring, people are taking down platforms, blah, blah, blah. You need to prepare yourself. It could come to your doorstep. Learn from other people that have gone through the process and try to strategize to how to avoid these things.
It's also really
That's
important, like when you talk about investing on the ground. I think two things can eliminate a lot of hardship from people, especially in the terms of relocating to the continent. And those two things would be investing in A, land, and B, food, right?
yeah,
Because those are your
right.
biggest expenses, right? If you run out of your business mode, right? The two biggest things that it'll affect is your rent
food
if
and
you're
living.
renting, right? And then obviously
Right.
how you eat. But if we're building our homes, if we're having our own land and we're growing our own food and we're
You're
feeding
more
ourselves,
self-sustainable.
you can take a hit like that for weeks,
Yeah.
for months, and you're
Yeah.
still straight. You don't have to worry about going backwards. So we do have to look at just sustainable ways of implanting ourselves. And a lot of us, we had to learn the hard way, even over years past, bringing those multiple streams of income, not just the online income, but an on the ground income as well. And so every
Need that.
time you build that on the ground income, you can even a little bit take your foot off of the online income,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
your transition, right? The
yeah.
online thing only works in your transition, right? That's where it's most, people
Exactly.
want to
It
see
it
how
shouldn't
you're
be.
how you're making that
Yeah.
trend. But once you get onto the ground, start building your businesses on the ground, and then you
On the
can
ground.
let that part go.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
quite frankly, they will. I'm sorry, Chief.
So
Quite frankly, they will target you that way because they know that it is, a main source of income for you. So if you're in a position where it's not necessarily your main source, then you have something to fall back on, and it doesn't really matter. They took my platform and it was a hit, but I still was able to stay afloat. I had my website, I had additional streams of income, and I was working on my on the ground thing. I was using my YouTube funds to fund the on the ground project. So it is what it is.
Speaking of social media, you're a one of our moderators on our Black Kings and Queens project page, which we're actually broadcasting on right now. Is one of the platforms we're on. We're up to 28 million plus views this month. You've been on there sharing the Black love content. Like, what does it feel like being a part of a media platform that is literally seeing 28 million people a month with educational empowerment content?
It is powerful. representation matters. I say that all the time on my platform. Representation matters. A lot of our people don't believe that certain things are available or even exist because they don't see it, because they have never seen it. And some people, it's not until maybe things are promoted that they actually sit down and think about, wow, this is something that I should promote or I should definitely follow, which is one of the reasons that I promote, for instance, Black love, because I see in the media, interracial is heavily promoted, promoted on sitcoms, promoted in movies, promoted on commercials, and Black love is not promoted,
And in
and so,
commercials.
yeah, so, and I actually asked a friend, when my friend asked me, why did I, do that? Because a lot of people find that my line is really controversial, which is, the line is Black love or stay single, and I said, well, think about it.
Tell
If
them
you
they mad, stay mad.
love Black love, if you want to perpetuate Black love, what clothing line could you get that could exemplify that? Where could you go?
Right.
And she was quiet. I said, there's not one. If you want that, now if you want Gucci, you know where to get it. If you want Tommy Hilfiger, you know where to get it. If you want Calvin Klein, or if you want H&M, you know exactly where to get it. If you want to wear a shirt that says, I promote and support Black love, you would have to rack your brain to think about a place to get it. Well, now you have a place to get it. The African Superstar.
Place to get it.
That's real.
Now you have a place to get it.
Informed.
that you know what I'm saying? If you want to make a statement, I know wearing, like, for instance, I will wear my products in London, and people will be looking at me like, whoa, and I haven't said a word, but I've said a word, you know what I mean? My clothes, it's for
They speak
us.
for themselves.
Exactly.
Making a big statement.
And
this is something that we have to stand on. Right now is a time when everybody's standing on, their beliefs, and that's what it should be, right? We should be able to profess our love for each other the way everybody else professes their loves for whatever
they're on.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think the Black Love or Stay Single brand is huge. I think it's something that, number one, not just in clothing, but it should become a code amongst creators.
Yeah, it's synonymous with self-preservation.
Right.
Yeah.
It's choosing your people regardless, and all of us have had our ups and downs with our people or whatever, but it's still just choosing. It's making a conscious decision. Hey, for me, it's Black love. For me, I don't know the person, I don't know who they are. I haven't connected with them, but that's my conscious decision. Because and if I can't have it, maybe it seems extreme, but if I can't have it, I'll just be on my own. That's all I want.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want nothing else.
That's standards. That's standards, and we should you should have your standards.
Exactly.
We gotta hold ourselves to that code.
And we're the only people that when we say that, people have a problem with it. Nobody has a problem with Chinese people saying it, or Arab people saying it, or any other. Right. But when Black people say Black love or stay single, choose Black over everything else, I love my people, everybody be, you being racist, you doing, you know what I'm saying? Right. But I don't give a damn what other people say about it. But I'm just saying, it seems like only when we say it, you never hear any, especially, have you ever heard a Chinese people going off on a Chinese man or woman for saying they want their daughter or son to marry another Chinese and have Chinese baby? But it's our own Black people that will go off on us for saying it.
That's because so many of us are now desensitized to this whole, mixing pot of
and really
it's
because our families have not really made it established. You know what I'm saying? Our family, our community, people don't want to say, hey, Chief, when you start dating, you need to select your people. There's reasons why. These are some of the consequences. These are some of the things that mixed race children may go through. This is, these are some of the stereotypes you're going to have to put up with. We leave our children to find and navigate the world on their own, and we allow other people to educate them.
Yeah.
You see, and when that happens, they're going to instill all kind of stuff in them, which is we all need to get along in harmony and all this stuff, things that they're not even instilling in their own children. They're putting into our children, you know. And so for me, you know, which I'm the auntie, proud auntie to many, many young nieces and nephews around the world. I always find creative ways to tell them what are my expectations or what is good for them, what will be in the best interest for them. Because if we don't have that conversation, they get out into the world and maybe, you know, a lot of times when you're in the West and that's your environment, you know a couple people that you get on with, you know, and you're like, well, my friend from school is cool, you know, my buddy from church is fine, you know, I never had any problems with this person, and you want to use that exception as the judgment marker for, you know, your ideology. And it's not even about them, really. It's about us.
Right.
You know, it's not about them, you
That's
know.
right. It's really about it's about preservation, like you say.
Exactly.
And I think that right now more than ever, black men need black women, and right now more than ever, black women need black men. And I think that if we see each other as each other's solution, right? So it's all, you know, you have to put yourself in that position to understand, like, how am I the solution to a black woman, right? And what makes us a black woman a solution to me? And so when you understand that, right, I think that you go about your life in a way that is cohesive, right? We really got to find our equal opposites. You know, the attraction is all in the building, right? This is a sister I can build with. This is a sister that I can learn from. This is a sister that I can count on. This is a brother that I can, you know, feel protected, right? So you have these, you know, equal give and takes. And so we do that for each other. We empower our communities. We make it easier for our children to grow up and build black communities as well. We want to make sure that we are the best examples. So for sure, let's definitely let me see. Sister Ya is having trouble there. It looks like.
Yeah, bro. I want to add too. You know, 3.5 billion people use Facebook, IG, WhatsApp, and all the apps that's part of the Facebook family. You know, recently, RJ, you just created a new app. You know, we know about Abibatumi down in Ghana. You know, we know about efforts of genuine Pan-Africanists seeing this from afar, understanding that technological moves need to be made for us to survive going forward. The world is not going to be like it was before when we was little kids growing up in the 80s. They ain't have no cell phones, they have no internet. It's different now. And a lot of people are choosing their content to get famous off of or to get wealthy off of. But really, one thing I really appreciate about even, you know, everybody here on this panel, especially piggybacking off of what you were just saying, Sister Africa Superstar, utilizing these spaces to raise consciousness, you know, to challenge our people to think differently. We're not being challenged with alternative information. You know, the kids is drilling all over America because they hearing drill a million times a day. You know what I'm saying? They hearing smoking on this and smoking on that every single day. And we have this information. You know, it's a crime for us to harbor it. You understand? It's betrayal for us to harbor it. It's betrayal for us to take it and then better ourselves and our families and know for a fact that there's hundreds and thousands and millions of our people, not only in America, but Brazil, Jamaica, Haiti, and Africa that need this valuable information. So I say all that because this is not the first time that this happened with Facebook. It happened in 2019 as well. And in 2019, it happened for 24 hours. And if you watch Facebook, Facebook has been buying up all of the main apps, communication apps.
WhatsApp, Instagram.
Yes. And so what happened yesterday was that they was supposed to be just making like a minor test, a minor adjustment. And it caused the whole system to go out. So they had an outage. Then they had to reset the whole app. So we was talking here about the global reset a few months ago in relationship to the outbreak, you know, to the pandemic, and saying that those who are dominating us with ideals, those who are controlling our minds through the media, they are going to use this as an opportunity to introduce new ideals, new policies, new things that we're really not prepared for. And those of us who know it, we get contented with just knowing it. So like you said, bro, earlier, it's a wake up call. But we have to have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, all the way down to
Speaking
Z,
of
and start
plan
all
B,
over again.
for all of y'all that were out of communication yesterday, we members of the Exodus still had connection with one another through our Exodus Club app. So
That's right.
we were still able to communicate. It was crazy because the social media networks weren't working, but I was still getting notifications from my Exodus Club app. And I'm like, if the internet is messed up, how am I still getting notifications?
Yeah.
I was so confused. I kept resetting my router. I'm like,
it's an app.
I'm like, the internet's messed up.
Right
but
now,
my Exodus Club app is still sending me notifications.
That's look. That right there is exactly what we mean by Plan B. You know what I'm saying? And that's why more and more people need to get onto the app, bro. We need to support these apps. We need to support these apps. It's not a joke. I don't know anything about it. I don't know how to create them. You might have to coach me through it, but I know we need them.
Nowadays it's it's getting a lot easier. But essentially we want to just open up opportunities. Like when it comes to the availability of information, things have to be opened up, right? You got to kind of lay it all out. And so the app kind of helps us to do that. For those of you who are not yet members of the Exodus Club, we have a lifetime membership. That membership includes consulting, includes assistance with relocating or doing business on the continent. As of lately, we just created our platform that we have available for members, where you can log in and you can actually communicate with one another. You can get direct updates. We've got tribes that break down our different interests. So we have like a wellness tribe. We've got like a travelers, nomad tribe. We've got all these different tribes. And slowly but surely, our members are all joining onto that. We've got hundreds of members, but many of them are just getting onto the app kind of slowly but surely. But you can join right now. The price is essentially half price of what it used to be. Our membership was, I guess if you guys remember, was $9.99 for the lifetime membership just a year or so ago. Now it is $4.99. You can join direct on the app. It's got instant access. So as soon as you join, you're in the group. You can go ahead and start networking, book your first consultation right away. We can sit down, get on the phone, and talk about your own goals. Right? What is the outlook? How are you going to make it happen? I know that's the biggest question. People are like, "Hey, this sounds like something I'd like to do, but I don't even know where to start." Well, we're going to show you where to start. We're going to introduce you to properties, land, apartments, homes for sale, for rent. Jobs, opportunities, investments, all types of different things that can just open your mind up to opportunities. Because again, that's what this club was always about. We always wanted to just be a wide range of information so that you can make your own informed decisions, right? And so my brother Chief Foday is in there. He's also a consultant helping folks in Sierra Leone. As a matter of fact, I just spoke to a brother today. Sierra Leone, they're excited about being a part of this whole Exodus movement. We even have folks now who are traveling from Senegal who are actually going to be coming down to Sierra Leone to see you guys as well. So it's kind of like we're trading groups.
That's what's up. It's Exodus, bro.
Coming, we're building out now whole residential facilities, residential homes, apartments, rooms, efficiencies for you guys to stay in. All right. If you need more information, go to the website at the bottom of the screen, madeinafricaproject.com. Again, that is madeinafricaproject.com. And you can join the Exodus Club as a member. You can book a tour with us there. You can even get invested on just, a variety of different things. But tap in with us so that we can be able to be your eyes and ears and hands and feet on the ground.
It's very important. And the last show we said, if you can do anything, you can help other people. And one thing about the Exodus Club is that you're not just paying and then calling somebody and they're going to give you some answers. you become part of a family. You become part of a vast network of people that have a lot of experience and information that's available to you. And we're very, we're very family oriented, man. As long as you don't come with the drama, man, everybody gonna deal with you. So, you can't pay for that, really. You really can't pay for that. It's just that you're gonna pay respect because it costs for us to keep this thing going. And when you understand that, it's like, wow, all I gotta do is hook up with Exodus Club and I'm good. I can start my planning for Africa. Yes, it's that simple. Support the cause. We're here to support you. So it is like that, man. People really have muddied the waters, man. It's difficult for us to call for support. It's difficult for us to say, hey, we got this campaign we want to do. We want to help some people. It's difficult because the water has been muddied. It's been muddied. And so our resolution is to continue to push. Our resolution is to continue to provide superior services and understand how to repatriate our people. Now, I was talking to someone yesterday, and I'm always looking around Freetown. When you see Lebanese people, they're well-to-do. You don't see poor with Lebanese people. You see Chinese people, they might be dirty, but they're getting money out here. When you see anybody you see out here, even other African countries, the way that they organize once they touch Freetown, once they realize, okay, we need housing, okay, we need employment, okay, we're gonna need services, they put their stuff together, man.
Thank you.
200 Chinese can show up in one day here.
They're
one
very
day,
collective.
one day. And so just imagine, we're talking about repatriation and Exodus Alliance and mass repatriation. And I'm so tired of hearing everybody talk about Africa. It don't cost much. It don't take long to get your passport. It don't cost much to get here. But at least put some validity behind your teachings and your preachings. Come and know. You know what I'm saying? Come and hook up. And so that's a challenge. And we're here to help people make that happen. So definitely, if you can do it, come through, support the Exodus Alliance. Buy a brick. We're talking about buying bricks. We're talking about a campaign, the genius of Sister Ya, that we've been pumping ever since Garvey Day. Live, in inboxes, to friends, to family, and trying to explain that if we don't take these initiatives for ourselves, no one's going to take them for us. And if you ask one person to put up all the money to make it happen, then that's too much. But if we ask for our people to come together and then also have an opportunity to benefit and know that you've been a part of that, for us to validate that we can do this, and then we can do it again and do it again and do it again, and we have a process. But if people don't support us, we can't do it.
Chief, what you said is key. That's the idea behind the BRIC campaign, is to show people that collectively, if we pool resources collectively, a lot can get done for our people. So with that money from the big BRIC campaign, that's what we want to show. Somebody gonna get a house. Somebody gonna get their free rent and utilities paid up for a year. Somebody's gonna get a trip. Somebody's gonna get a 2-week vacation. Yeah, somebody's gonna get a plot of land. So it's not for us, it's for the people. Somebody out of those 1,500 bricks, several people are going to benefit from it. And it is a demonstration of collective works, which is why we decided to do it during Kwanzaa, to show how, if we all come together, what can be accomplished. And those are the principles of Kwanzaa. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's what that's about.
It's a give and take program. It's definitely something where those of us who want to make that contribution, even if you can't invest in something big, even if you can't make the move yourself, even if you're not in a position to even travel right now, right? You may have things that are keeping you from even being able to travel. You can make a contribution by purchasing a brick, and that brick is your way of leaving your stamp here on the ground. Right, we're building out right now. We're breaking ground on the transitional property here at Pink Lake Senegal, where we'll have 40 efficiencies for returnees to be able to stay at. And on that property, as we lay it out, you guys will be able to have your brick laid right there in the soil, right there in the pathways of those communities. And every returnee that comes over the years will see your family's name your business, your organization, whatever you represent, right? And so we can have those as our legacy pieces. And then when you come, you get to come and see your name inscribed in the ground on that brick. So it's something that just stays generationally. So make sure you guys go to the website, scroll on the bottom of the screen, madeinafricaproject.com, and purchase a brick. All right, the brick is $250. You get 3 lines of text, 20 letters per line. You can make it a dedication to one of your ancestors. You can make it a appreciation for somebody in your community, or dedicated to somebody of stature. But it's up to you. Brother asked just a second ago, are there group investment options tied into the membership? And if so, can we get an example? Great question. And so our Exodus Club membership does come with group investment options. We have tons of different opportunities that our members are invested in right now, from transportation. If you are, if you have any background or interest in transportation, we are helping you to get involved in that here on the ground, buses and tourism vans and these type of things. If you're into agriculture, we're doing manufacturing. We have folks who are investing in agriculture and then using those products to manufacture and transform them. Our transitional house that we just got finished talking about, 40-unit property, you can invest collectively in that. So you can become part owner in that project and be able to get, returns every year from its profits. And many, many more opportunities, tons of them, even government contracts you can get involved in. We've got access to unlimited resources to where whatever level you are in your investment career, whether it's a few $1,000s, whether it's a few million, whether more, you can be able to get invested here on the ground, whether collectively with others or in just a project of your own. Make sure to join the Exodus Club. We will consult you extensively on that. Show you ways that you can put your money to work, show you opportunities that others are invested in, and see how you can get involved. Not just here in Senegal, but around the continent. In Ghana, if you're looking to invest in things there, Sister Yah's there. We've got Chief Foday in Sierra Leone. If you're interested into opportunities in that region, Gambia, and so many other places where, depending on what it is you're doing, it may be a great market for it. It may be a great resource available that you can get in, quickly and with ease. So let's focus on, coming into the club, get into the fold, into the collective group, so that we can start taking those steps to get you the information that you need.
Absolutely. I want to add to that too, that, even if we don't have the investment that you're looking for, once you're a member of the club, you can present that investment. It might be something that we're looking for. You know what I'm saying? So it's just
even
about having
your
that
investment needs other people to invest in it.
Absolutely. So that's why we say cooperative, collective economics, cooperative economics. We live in the principles. We're not faking about it. If you think that you have ideals, you want to come back to Africa, you like what we do, you think we're good people, do the right thing. We all in club together. Come to the club. Whatever you got to bring, that's what we want. Everybody bring what they got. We're not. It's not like we have a whole brochure. Once you exit this alliance, you have to do exactly what we're saying. No, an alliance means people come together to work together on common things. So if you got something that we can all work together on commonly, bring it to the table. But first, come inside. Come join us. And it's respect.
That's right. And make sure y'all tap in, get those bricks. Another hot button thing going on right now in the news is this migration happening at the U.S. southern border became especially, frustrating, for a lot of us, especially seeing, Haitian people, right? Our Black and brown brothers and sisters at that border, fleeing what obviously was destroyed by hurricanes, earthquakes, and back-to-back calamities. And now these people are seeking some asylum and they're having resistance. Let's talk a little bit about that. I want to give my brother and sister, Chief and Sister Yah, as opinion on, those Haitian people. Like, what kind of options could they explore? Like, why aren't there other options that exist? And, how should we get involved?
Well, the reason why there aren't other options is because we don't work together as a group of people. Do you know if that was a bunch of Chinese people at that under that bridge at the border that was fleeing out of Trinidad and Tobago or Jamaica or Haiti, the Chinese government would have stepped in, or Chinese people would have came together and got their people and put them somewhere and was taking care of them. But all we do is sit around and say, "Dang, look how they treat our people." You know what I'm saying? Oh man, that's jacked up how they doing our people. Blah blah blah. But we don't come together to do anything to help our people. We don't. So the option it would be if we were to work cooperatively, like I see the Lebanese people do here. These people work together, and y'all know even in the United States, they work together as a unit. They even here, these people have some of them are married to Ghanaian women. I've heard the stories. Some of these people are married to Ghanaian women, but when they have those meetings for Lebanese people, their Ghanaian partner is not allowed to go to those meetings. Only the Lebanese can go, and they have their discussion about what they're going to do and how they're going to move. You know what I'm saying? How they're going to work together, how they're going to open up this restaurant. The thing that they do, they work together. They might start with one, and then they will move once that one is up and go. And I have an idea about something that we could do here in Ghana that doesn't exist, that I know Black people all over the West love. And I'm like, man, if we could get a group of Black people to come together and put this thing here, it would blow up. And then we could spread. Start with one, get that one going, then open up another one. You know, let somebody have the first one, open up another one, let somebody have that one, open up another. You know, but to get our people to come together, one, to even trust. Everybody thinks somebody's trying to get something from. I mean, I know why y'all think it, but this is not something that other people let them stop them from working with each other. And they are able to be successful and thrive because they're able to come together and work together. So my opinion, the issue, what could have been done, what was wrong, we Black people are very much in our mind individually. If it doesn't affect me and my own family, then I don't care. Or I may feel some sympathy, I may feel bad, but I'm not really finna do nothing about it. I'm not finna work with other Black people to solve the problem. This is our mentality.
Yeah, it's true. I agree with what you were saying too, but let me tell you this. Uganda has accepted Afghanistan refugees. America has accepted Afghanistan refugees. Afghanistan refugees are being accepted in Europe right now. Everywhere Haitians go for refuge, they get refused. They get attacked, they get abused. And for us being the longest standing African population in the United States of America, I'm talking about African Americans here, that owe a lot of our heritage, a lot of our own semblance of freedoms to the struggles of the Haitian people. They taught us how to turn the slave rebellion into a national revolution. And nobody will show the world that. And they've been punished for that. You look at what France is doing geopolitically around the world. You see what they're doing in Mali. You see what they're doing in Ivory Coast. You see what they're doing in Guinea. You see what they're doing in Haiti. You see what they're doing. So there's a connection. Right now, what we call imperialism is on its last dying bed. It's on its deathbed. And something new has to come out of it. And that new can be better or it can be worse. Right. So now is really a time for extreme action. And I don't want to sound like an extremist, but when you're desperate, you don't care if you can trust the person that's going to help you. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the expectations of our Haitian brothers and sisters who are running to the States is that, yo, I'm desperate. Help me. What excuse do you have not to help me? What, you got to go to work today? What you already got 2 strikes? You can't come down here and bring some Black Panthers down here to the border? Can't make some ruckus?
And let's not forget, the Haitians were some of the ones to help ex-U.S. slaves who are fleeing slavery, and even throughout the Civil War, when they would let them sneak on the boats in New Orleans and get down to Haiti and give them safe refuge,
All
right? So
bro,
this
look,
is the
all the way
African
back.
way that
All
we
the way
want to
back.
replicate, right? When you open your doors to your brothers and sisters because they are in desperate need, right? We talk about the Underground Railroad, how many people had to, under the threat of death. Like
Yeah.
my brother saying, like, what's your excuse, right? People used to hide us in their houses under the threat of death.
Yeah, what's
Death
your
for their
excuse?
whole family, not even just death for them. Like, we're going to come, we're going to kill you, hang your whole family if we find slaves in here hiding. And they still did it, right? And so our Haitian brothers and sisters were some of the ones that did that for us. And so when I talk about solutions, like, I mean, we obviously you can't save everybody, right? You have to have that kind of intelligence to know you can't save everybody, but to throw out solutions helps us to perhaps get the answers to the people who can help them, right? And that's again why we do programs like this, because myself or Sister Yao or Chief, we can't do it all, but somebody out there can. And so when we talk about solutions for these people at the borders, and now Biden has let a lot of them into the U.S., number one, we need to be aligning with those brothers and sisters.
We need
right?
we need to track everywhere they are. We need to know where they are.
We don't need to be getting territorial. We don't need to be getting in our egos and treating them like some kind of bother or some kind of exterior other that's taking something from us. We as Black people, if those people end up in our communities, we need to be the ones feeding them out of our refrigerators. We need to be the ones helping them get jobs in our businesses, even if it's something, I know they're giving a lot of them asylum. They only have to go and apply for asylum, right? So they likely will have the paperwork that they need to be able to work legally and these kind of things. So we need to be taking them into our communities, right? Don't let them put their kids in these public schools where they're going to turn them into zombies for the system, right? Take those kids in and tell them, hey, look, I'll pay for one of your kids' private education over here at this African Center school, right? I'll go ahead and take that burden off of you, my sister. I see you just came into the country with 2-3 kids and had to leave everything behind, right? So we should be actually opening up our doors, creating sustainable programs. And this is another reason why I say land and food, because even if in the U.S., some of our brothers and sisters had land and food, those new brothers and sisters coming in from Haiti will have somewhere to stay, right? They'll be able to farm and create their own food and opportunities. They wouldn't even have to bother you for your refrigerator, right? We got 100 acres out here. Let's go out here and grow our own food and start our own little mini Haiti village on our own without the government and without the system and without needing all of that, right? So sustainability is important. In terms of the continent, I know it's a whole nother factor getting, from there to the continent. But for those of us that are invested on the continent, we need to be thinking about things that we can invest in the communities that we're in the West as well from the continent. So let me give you an example. We have partners here that ship like containers of food to churches and these, kind of organizations in America from the continent. A whole container of organic food, right? And this ships over there, and they can have their own food for their congregations, right? We should be doing this collectively as communities, again, so that we can have our own stockpiles, our own surpluses. We should have our own, what do they call them when you give out food, kind of like, not necessarily like a
pantry, food pantry.
Like a food pantry, exactly. I see now they're putting those in schools. I don't know if you guys are starting to see that, but there are some different Black people right now who are investing in these little mini grocery stores to put in schools of underserved or Black community children, right? So now the kids, when they go to school, they can actually bring groceries home for their parents for dinner, for breakfast the next day. You seeing them in people doing these? So those kind of things. And those little pantries shouldn't be stuffed with all the same GMO crap that you getting out of the grocery store. We want to stock a school grocery store. It need to be all 100% natural food. It need to be natural juices. They don't need Kool-Aid and fruit punch and Capri Suns and all that nonsense. Bring them some real food in there so them kids can be healthy, right? And this can work not just in the schools, but in the communities as well, where we're housing those Haitian brothers and sisters. So let's start opening up our minds and opportunities to create options for not just our own selves and families, but for people like that as well.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about what we can do. And you know, in the American side, that's what's up. But in Africa, it's a whole nother question. I don't know if you guys know, but a few years ago, Haiti applied to become a part of the African Union and was rejected.
That's right.
But Israel has observer status. And them white people still got that land in Zimbabwe and South Africa too. So we can't act like we're living in a free world and we have to be philanthropic for the poor Haitians. Nah, all Haitians ain't poor. They ain't slow and stupid either. We need to reach out to our brothers and sisters and get with the right ones and say, yo, what's up? And you know, build that relationship because they waiting for that. They ready for that. We already ain't waiting for that. So what I'm saying is that the African Union, it declared that they have a sixth region, the diaspora region. Haiti belongs to that diaspora region, the first independent state in that diaspora region.
That's right.
But they got rejected at the AU, and Israel was there. And now Afghanistan refugees is in Uganda, but Haitians is getting beat down at the border. So, so what I'm saying is that just like this Facebook thing that just happened yesterday. You know, right now that Zuckerberg is in trouble, right? They got a whistleblower in Facebook. They about to cut back a whole lot of communications. So they just got a whistleblower a few days ago. All of a sudden, outage, reset. You understand? So watch how the game is being played. Watch how the game is being played. Forget people right now. People moving around. These white people acting like it's the Black Plague. They don't want nobody entering their countries. They don't want you coming to their. If you work with them for 20 years, they're trying to find a way to get you away from them. You know what I'm saying? So we need to really pick up and like, yo, if it's ever been a time for us to just do it, it's now. No more planning. No more talking about it. Cut off the social media. Let's get to it. Reach some people in your community.
I went to sleep, bro.
Because true enough, there's a whole lot more work to be done off social media than on.
It didn't even bother me. So I said, so Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp is I got Telegram, I got Signal. I told my husband, I said, if you need to talk to me, hit me up on the Telegram or the Signal. You know, all my kids in the States got Telegram and Signal. And I went to sleep. I didn't even stress about it. I'm trying to figure out who was freaking out about this stuff because it didn't bother me. I'm like, well, whatever. They'll get it back on, you know?
For me, it wasn't necessarily that, you know, we were cut off. It was just the confusion of knowing whether the social media was cut off or whether my internet was cut. I was just confused. I couldn't tell which one it was.
Confused.
You know?
Yeah.
I opened up my Instagram.
But just imagine how many people were
impacted. Is it my data? Is it my Wi-Fi router? I can't tell.
Right.
Bro, just imagine 3.5 billion people didn't have access to their primary social media accounts yesterday for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not the first time. It was 24 hours in 2019. But the thing is this, it tells you don't put too much of your life on an app.
Yeah.
Don't put too much of your dependency on an app. Now, for us, it didn't do anything, but imagine the people that were in emergency situations and they didn't have no other way but to communicate. You know, in Africa, everybody got Facebook, everybody got WhatsApp. You know what I'm saying?
But so everybody also got neighbors and a community that they engage with all day, every day, too.
Absolutely. So we socialize here. Africa is social. And in America, we're not social.
We socialize.
I walk right past you. I won't even greet you. I'll drive past you and act like I don't know you. You know, we got that.
It's funny because here, like, people are not
even that nasty ass style, man.
Folks are not even really like apt to do appointments on the phone. Like, you want to do like a Zoom meeting or a call meeting for local people here, they'd be like, nah, man, pull up, come to my office.
Yeah, pull up. Oh, yeah.
We got to see each other in person, man. They still appreciate that face-to-face communication because that's where we come from. We come from a community I want to look you in your eyes. I want to feel your vibe. I want to catch your energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we still operate like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Hey, look, I've been watching this guy, Elon Musk. You know about him, right? Elon Musk.
Of course.
That's his name, right? Musk, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Elon Musk.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, he's always talking about AI. He's always talking about like we're already in the first phase of androidism, and people can't survive without their phones right now. Like
Right.
20 years ago, your phone was just something maybe you make a few phone calls on and send some texts to, and or maybe some chirps. You know, that's it. But now your business is there, your everything is there. Your primary communication is there. Your bank accounts is there. Everything is on your phone. And so it's almost like RoboCop, whereas you know, he was half humanoid but android or whatever. That's what they turning us into. They even calling the phones androids. And so you got to understand, like, it's very dangerous to have a capitalism in the world today that will allow for 3.5 million people to be under one company like that, and for that to go off for 5 minutes. Imagine it go off for 5 months. Imagine it go off for 6 months. Imagine how it's going to impact people's immediately and then long term. Just because we put so much of our business and our time on Facebook, WhatsApp, IG, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And if you look at
Right.
yeah,
But
if you look
but
at it,
Chief, we've discussed this before, but I want to bring it up again. A lot of times, y'all saw how the grid went down in Texas. Y'all saw how the grid went down in Texas,
Right.
it's not a game.
Right.
right?
And them
All
storms
right.
ain't getting no easier now. They're getting a little
Because
harder.
a lot of the infrastructure in America, I don't know why people under this illusion that America is infallible and can't nothing ever happen in America and all this and that, but the infrastructure is falling apart in America. And I don't know what they're gonna do about it, but at the end of the day, this is another reason why you need to have your own land to be able to feed yourself, work in co-ops with
Power
other people.
source.
Yeah, you get with some of your people in the neighborhood and say, okay, well, I'm gonna grow this and you grow that. Then if in an emergency situation, we can trade something. You know what I'm saying? We can help each other. We can feed each other. You know, I
Bro,
got tomatoes and you got cabbage.
absolutely.
But at the end of the day, I want everybody that's listening. If you didn't hear it the first time I mentioned this on the show, earlier show we did, look up. Y'all remember Ted Koppel? Ted Koppel was CBS. What Ted
Yeah,
Koppel? What
CBS.
news station was
CBS.
Ted Koppel with? Was it CBS?
Wasn't it CBS?
The journalist Ted Koppel wrote a book called Lights Out. He did some investigative journaling after he retired, because there was an issue that came up that he realized was a real threat to America, which is he's saying like the next war ain't gonna be really guns and nuclear power. Everybody got nuclear power basically, so it's going to be hacking into people's power grids and things like that and shutting off the power.
They say
And
Russia's
then
been
he said,
doing that now for like the past
yeah,
few years. They blame everything on
yeah,
Russia. Russia and hacked everything
yeah,
from
that's what
elementary
it is. That
schools
hacking
to
into your
the
your
FBI.
your system. Yeah. So, and he did some stuff on there and talked to people in the Pentagon, and they basically admitted, yes, they know this is a threat. And he was saying, so why don't you all just let the American people know so they can start preparing themselves? Because what he was saying, the generals and stuff at the Pentagon was telling him, it's not even a matter of if it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they know it's going to happen. So their reasoning for not telling the American people to prepare, they said, we just don't have enough. They don't want the people to panic, and we don't have enough to give everybody like enough of these what they call MREs and things like that. And they said something about the MREs have an expiration date. So if we give it to them now and then it expires before it happens, then we have to come up and give. It's just some nonsense. But the gist of what I want everybody to understand is these people are expecting that to happen. They are expecting it to happen. And do you
Where
know
are you
the
gonna be
chaos
when
that's
it
going to
happens?
ensue within a couple of days, not even a whole week? The chaos that's going to ensue in your neighborhood when ain't no electricity, when ain't no power.
And now they're talking about the fact that all of these people that went and bought guns, and the gun violence in America is like up 250%. You know, everybody is now armed and still shell. You know, everybody's still on edge, right? Are we going to be able to survive? Are we going to be able to make it? A lot of benefits are being cut off now. A lot of people are now coming down off of the money bag Joe, high, right? And now it's time for people to really get serious and get real about
Jim
for real,
Crow
how
Joe.
we gonna pay our rent, how we gonna feed our kids, and how we gonna take care of these bills. So the desperation causes people to do desperate things. And I think if anything, those of us who are wise enough to kind of see all of this building up, the best thing that we can do for ourselves is to remove ourselves from, the hot zone, right? And that, the urban centers of America, those, particular areas where, number one, we are not in control of our surroundings. And number two, we're not having sustainable resources to live off of, right? So if you're still living off of a job, if you're still, renting, if you're still living off of government assistance or these kind of aid programs, whether it's unemployment or any of that, just consider at any time that could stop. And so before it does, we need to be preparing ourselves. We need to be putting aside money for our relocation. We need to be getting our passports. We need to be making sure our families, health is up to par so that we can be able to, sustain these kind of transitions. This stuff is not for the weak or the weak-hearted.
RJ,
when they say only the strong survive, I think African Superstar said it the best a little while ago when she said people are trying and some are actually failing. So, let that be known. Like, this is not just rainbows and clouds, right? There is, some challenge to it. There is, some things that can set you back if you're not prepared. And I think preparation is key, but you need to do that far before it's needed. Right? Don't wait until Don't wait until the border's locked down or media is turned off or your job is kicking you out because you didn't.
Thank you.
Right. Don't wait until then. Start now, preparing your.
A lot of us have gotten so comfortable with the job, and now these people letting you know. If who would have thought 3 years ago? If somebody had told you 3 years ago that there would be a time when they would tell people if you don't take some medicine or whatever, if you don't do what we say, put something in your body, we know we got to watch what we say, that you're going to lose your job, that you got to go, you can't work it. 3 years ago, you never would have imagined that. You would have said that's impossible. Right. 3 years ago, if somebody had told you the government
I think we would have thought a lot of things were impossible. That
3 years ago, if somebody had came and told you that the United States government is going to tell employers that they have to do this to their employees, right, or they're gonna be fined, or you're gonna get fined, you would have been like, it's a lie. It could never happen. So I say it all that to say this: don't get too comfortable with these folks. You got to make a way for you to be self-sustainable. And that is even for us over here on the continent, because I even tell the people that are here, I'm starting this month with the courses I told y'all. The first one is going to be how to preserve fruits and vegetables. I'm doing a class on that, and I'm inviting not only diasporans, but Ghanaians. I got 2 instructors coming because it's important. I don't know how to preserve fruits and vegetables. So I was like, I need to learn how to do that. So when I realized that where I'm lacking, I said, okay, let me do a class on it, invite the people to come out so we all can learn it together. You see what I'm saying? Because it doesn't matter if it's Sister, listen, I can't feed everybody over here. So I need everybody to know how to do it. I ain't got enough to feed her. I need
November 10th through 12th, really quickly. Here in Senegal, we're actually having a wellness retreat November 10th through 12th. So for those returnees, members of diaspora, if you're here in Senegal, if you're going to be here in November, we're going to have a retreat out at the Pink Lake where a lot of these same things are going to be incorporated. They're having the cooking class where they're going to be teaching organic, local cooking. So if you're coming here as a returnee, you don't have to go straight into the grocery stores and still be buying all of that Western prepackaged stuff, right? You can shop local, you can, shop organic. Also, they're going to be having classes on just different methods of, holistic wellness. We're going to have a African Kemetic yoga. Our sister Dayla, who has been here on the show before, also repatriate here in Senegal. She's been doing her thing with the yoga and the dance. She's killing it. Yeah. So she's going to be giving the class out there. So if you guys are in Senegal or are going to be here in November, hit us up. Come on out for the retreat. It's limited spots. So go to the website, scroll on the bottom of the screen, madeinafricaproject.com, and book your place right away. All right.
But Chief, isn't that the real definition of freedom, though? When you're able to feed yourself, when you're able to, isn't that really when you're free?
And
when you don't need.
I think when you can feed yourself and sustain yourself is one part, but when you can do it without needing to exploit or oppress somebody else, that's the real freedom. I don't just want to make money. I don't just want to leave wealth behind, but I want to do it with clean hands and a clean heart. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to pass blood money to my children.
Right.
You curse your babies. And so the thing is, absolutely, even here, self-sustainability, being able to feed yourself. Listen, if you look at the statistics, it'll tell you that Sierra Leoneans are poor, extremely poor. Okay, maybe financially in the Western system. But if you want to talk about cultural, they ain't poor in culture. If you want to talk about diversity and being able to work together, they ain't poor in that either. If you're talking about farming, knowledge of farming in a bush, farming in the savannah, farming on a mountainside, they have a wealth of knowledge about this. And everybody has enough knowledge to put that together and do what we need to do. What I'm saying is that we have everything we need except for the leadership and the organization and the finances to implement. Everything else is there. We have more than enough people and more than enough skills.
So I think people just need to. People have to really just take a hold of these opportunities, because it's not even that the opportunities aren't available. It's not even that people don't know which opportunities exist, but more so is that, a lot of people are really waiting on the, what if things turn around, right? What if I don't need it? What if I can do something else with this money? What if I can, buy me or put me a down payment on another car?
Man.
Just do what I've been doing, right? And so that's what a lot of people
say. They're over there balling, man.
I got $10, $20, $30, $40,000, $50,000, right? But am I sure I want to, right? And that 1 foot in, 1 foot out attitude is what's gonna make you be one of the last ones to the finish line, right? That's the procrastination that has stopped you from opening a business for years. That's the procrastination that has stopped you from breaking free of your employer for years. That's the same procrastination, right? That's going to keep you in that position until you are 65 years old. You'll still not have enough to retire. You'll still have to work until, you'll be greeting people at Walmart door if you got to, right? And so we're not preparing because we're procrastinating, right? A lot of people still feel like, what if I can still keep my cushy Western life and not have to shift and not have to reinvest? And I think you gotta have one,
we're still playing with the devil, man.
Work out for you.
We still playing with the devil, man. You know what I mean? That's what we still doing. We still depending on our enemies to feed us, and educate us, and tell us what to do. And anytime any of us come up and say, you know what, we don't need them to tell us that, we can do it ourselves. We get crucified. And so the thing is that this has been our history. So, it's not about being accepted anymore. It's about really making things happen the way they're supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? We need examples that these ideals aren't just fantasies, that we can really make this stuff happen. And, people need to see that. A lot of people are, like you said, sitting on the fence. They're waiting to see and make sure it's easy, make sure it's cheap, make sure it's damn near free for them to do before they really take the step to move forward. And I mean, that's obvious. Most people are like that.
You might be waiting for a while.
Bro, look, we got people in the movement. We got people that been around preaching this and doing this work right along with us for 20, 30, maybe longer than that. And they see this work and they understand this work. But those are the ones where I'm more disappointed in. The ones who know that it's time to ante up and still continue to procrastinate and play games with their money. Our people got money. It's not about money. It's way bigger.
Not
than
even
money.
play games with money, playing games with your life, with your livelihood, with your lifestyle, with your future, with your legacy. That's really what a lot of us are playing games with. And I think the distractions are all just to make it even more confusion. So we got to have that tunnel vision, really kind of let go of everything that is creating a cloudy space for us. You know, we sometimes have a lot of relationships and baggage and, you know, all types of things. It ain't just work and the bills, right? It's all type of things that create a cloudy space. And that cloudy space will keep you from seeing your options every time. So clarity is important. Seek clarity at all costs. Make sure that we are, you know, kind of detoxing our brains as much as possible. So, you know, like the social media outage yesterday was good for some of us because we got a chance to sit down and just chill with our families. You know, take time to just strategize, sit around and plan out some steps for our exodus or the next.
Stop watching so much of this media news that's putting all this fear in you and all that stuff and got distracting you, because that is propaganda, you know, and it's designed to have your brain work a certain kind of way. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Now, I'm not even trying to tell y'all that sister y'all finna go live in no mud hut in the village. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to do that. But I do notice some things when I go around in those villages, in those mud huts, and I see those people. I see some of the fattest, juiciest, healthiest babies you ever want to see in your life. I always see some women cooking. There's always some food. You know what I'm saying? When I see people begging, you don't see the people begging in the village. They're not begging. The food and the security is in the village. Right. Honestly, I'm telling y'all the honest to God truth.
That's right.
In
this
fact,
new generation just got bored in the village. That's all. You know, a lot of
that's what we say.
Young local. You know, their grandfather had a farm. You know, 100 acres, 50 acres. You know, their dad ran that farm, and now the new generation, because of technology and all these advancements,
they are abandoning the village.
It ain't that they in no need. They got all the food and all the they straight. They got land galore, but they're seeking kind of that more fun life, you know, a little more excitement.
Yeah,
I want to go for that.
The material things. They're looking for the material things, and so what happens is, so when you're in the cities. Like when you come to a crowd, you're gonna see the begging, you're gonna see all that stuff. You know, but in the village, you don't see that. You don't see it. Right. Pay attention, you don't see it. And let me tell you something else. I was just in a business meeting a couple of days ago, and we was having a conversation about this. And one of the brothers in the meeting was like, he was talking to a guy who was, you know, living on the street and, you know, not making it and having a hard time. And he said, boss, look, I'm going back to the village. I'm going back to my family house. I got my own room there. You know, he was basically looking. He was like, I don't have to take this shit. I can go home. You know,
it's the same thing here in Dakar. Literally 90% of the people that live in Dakar are from somewhere else in the countryside, and they go back home for the holidays, for their vacations from school, for their leave from work. Whatever chance they get, they back in their village. They don't be in the city, you know, for leisure if they don't have to. And so that really is like that's something that we're not even up on as African Americans, right? Having a house somewhere off in the country, just going into the city for work, and then getting back out to our land with our people and our community. We'd rather live in the mix and on top of each other, and you know, in white people's neighborhoods and there. Like we want to integrate you bad. Really,
but you know what?
You know, retract a little bit, build our own, and then we can just go work and come home. Go work and we need to get to the city we can. You know,
that was our original system. That was a system that after emancipation, the system that we came up with during Reconstruction was a hell of a system. We began building small towns. We start banking. We start collectivizing our agriculture. We start teaching. We made our boys go to the military to get fighting skills. And we also educated our kids. We also had our own markets. We also had our own things. And segregation or no segregation, you got to remember that during Reconstruction, we held the most power. We had senators, congressmen in certain states, Mississippi, South Carolina, Georgia. So that economic system that we're actually envisioning is something that we remember genetically. We remember it's common sense. And so that system right there is a system that they've been attacking all this time. For us to be in the cities, you gotta realize that, man, we 3-4 generations in the cities now. We don't know no country. Yeah. All we know is the block. That's why we die for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, it's a distortion in who we should be by now. And they put that's the reason for all the racism. That's the reason for the mass incarceration. That's the reason for the income gaps. This is why, so that we don't have the power, the actual ability to secure our own survival. Now, earlier we were talking about Haiti. What we gonna do for Haiti? Well, we got a lot of poor people running around them cities in America. We got a lot of poor brothers and sisters, a lot of cousins and aunties and nephews that we ain't talking about first. And so until we got that kind of system among ourselves, we can't help nobody else. And that's the system that's being destroyed. This repatriation movement is an extension of the struggle in the diaspora for African rights. Right. We have to be representing that struggle here without making a difference between that struggle there and the struggles that we endure here as well with the people. So this repatriation makes it complete. And other people need to come and experience what we experienced, because what you were just saying, y'all, is so true. In August, we had 2 of our executive members come from the village. They were supposed to be here for a week. They was like, we want to go in 3 days. It's 3 days. And look, I'm like, yo, but you know, you got transportation here. You know, you got internet here. You can make phone calls. You know, you can just go to the market. They was like, no, I want to go back. They said my life, my money is in the bush. I can survive there. I don't like this.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. When my husband, I think I told y'all this. When my husband, the land we got is like an hour away from Accra. And I remember the first time my husband got the land like a surprise to me. He didn't tell, he was like, he's gonna surprise me with this land, right? Okay, he's got the land and surprised me. Then he took me to the land. I was like, we in the middle of the bush. He took me to the ain't nothing out here. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't happy, but my husband in all his wisdom, he didn't pay me no damn attention when I was like, this land too far. It's too far from everything, you know. but he didn't pay my ass no attention. And you know what? Now I see the wisdom in what he did, because now I'm happy. When I go out there, I'm telling y'all, fresh air, ain't no traffic, it's quiet. You know, I got my little goats. I be playing with my little goats, and I got chicken. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at where I'm gonna plant this, where I'm gonna do the guy. Now you know what I'm saying. And now I can honestly say, and I have told my husband, you were right. This was the best thing you did. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't listen to my ass when I was like, I want to be closer to the stick. You know?
Yeah, African man.
You will see. I mean, I had the same thought process when I bought my first land here. Also, I mean, it's in a rural area, and I felt the same. I was conflicted myself. I was like, is this even like, am I even gonna want to be here? But after buying it, number one, just to buy and own the land feels good. Number two, to have the opportunity or the option to build on it whenever you want feels great. And then to be able to get out to it and it's isolated from all of the headache is the most, you know,
the peace
feeling of peace you ever had in your life. That is the ultimate freedom, guys.
And guess what, RJ? Now I'm starting to see houses pop up out there, and I'm like, what they coming out here for? You know?
We don't want no neighbors.
Right.
I live somewhere else.
Oh yeah, you a mess.
Yeah, man, that peace and quiet is definitely underrated.
I'm serious, Chief.
Having an escape to the rural area.
Oh my God. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm like, man, what they coming out here for? I'm sorry. Every time I see another little house pop up, boop, boop, I'm like, man, why? Why? So now I'm like, okay. I told my husband, I got another spot for us to go get some land. Ain't nobody over there.
Hey, look, that's how the white people.
You say we gonna move
That's how
somewhere
the
else
white folk be doing us in America. They get that good land. As soon as we show up, who that?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Same way. I bet not. Look, I bet not see no Bukra nowhere near my land. I bet not see no white man nowhere near my land. Not in Africa. Your laws don't matter
Right.
here. You don't have
For
no
real.
problem. Not on my land in Africa.
Oh, that reminds me. That, you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all, and I ain't gonna. I did it, and it's the truth. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. So, this brother, he's a Ghanaian. He contacted me. He was like, "Oh, sister, yeah, I heard that you helping people get the residency, and blah. I got some people they need some help." First thing I asked the brother, I said, "Are they black?" he said, "Oh no, they are Caucasian." I said, my program not for them."
Yeah, get them out there.
And you know what I said? He just started laughing just like you did. I said, "No, sir.
That's the prerequisite.
They don't be understanding that. They don't be understanding that.
Members of the diaspora only.
Yeah, hey, bro, look, they don't be understanding that right there, bro. Hey, when I be like, nah, man, I don't do. You know, my business is not for to service them. The brothers and sisters here be like, what? You don't want the white man's money?
That's because we've become so
money,
accustomed counting on them for everything. We've been even when we set up black businesses, our own businesses, our own structures, we still count on them to be our customers. We still count on them to be our support, to be our grants. You know, we're still going to them for grants and to their banks for loans, and we're doing things for us, but still counting on them to help us with it. Yeah. And so that's something that has to be innately disabled in our operations, right? We have to really get you, even if it takes a little suffering, even if it takes a little, several years of building, whereas it could have been quick, right? So like, you could have just went and got a quick bank loan or a quick grant from the government. You could be rich right now doing something that they paid for. And, does that really break us from our chains? Right? Or are we still working for the same people that we're looking to break away from? So it might take a little longer. It might be a little more difficult. Might cost you a little more out of pocket. But you're actually independent, right? There's too many people out here who are claiming to be independent, but still crunched up on the system, right? And so we have to break that, because even that is going to hold us back, because those grants all come with stipulations, right? They're telling you what your organization has to do or has to include or has to abide by. Those bank loans are still coming with interest, which is one of the biggest reasons why our communities are in debt, right? Those big, even those big donors, right? We know an organization, they built a beautiful school. They're helping Black kids, but their biggest donor is this 87-year-old British couple, British couple. And these people are like, what is your interest in this? And then so we dug in a little deeper. And so they even have their own little agenda that this school has to institute in order for them to keep funding it. And so these people are saying, hey, well, they're paying all these kids tuition. They're keeping us open. They're paying us. Who cares if they say we have to do this every year, right? Who cares if they say we got to make our, right? And so those little things become big things. They become the things that we lean and crutch on. Now those kids that you just brought up in that school become adults who have that same mentality. We just created another generation of the same dependent nature, right? So we have to really start cutting those things off, even if it's a burden to us. We can put up with it for a while, just so we can really actually say we had our own.
Yeah.
That's real. And if you look at anybody who succeeded, that's what they do, man. They make sure that they own their own success. It's only because of the condition they put us in that we're always looking for a handout. You know what I'm saying? It's conditioning. And so if we're going to retrain the African mind to think, if I can't do it for myself, then it won't get done. then we won't never return back to our independence. You know, they say we're independent, but we're still dependent. You know, and so absolutely, we have to. It's not just about thinking. It's a lot more than just thinking.
Well, y'all ain't gonna never hear about Sister Y'all helping some of them folks get residency in Africa. It would never happen.
I hear that.
They have to figure it out.
Ain't gonna happen.
If they over here, it won't be because I helped them.
That's right.
Y'all will never be able to accuse me of that one.
At the end of the day, we should be going after everything that they come in here for and getting to it first. Whatever's attracting them here, we need to be to it first. Unless it's detrimental to our people, in which place we need to be replacing it with something else that's beneficial for our people. And that's something that a lot of people sit back and complain about. Oh, what are they doing over there? Oh, I ain't coming because the Chinese are there. Well, whatever it is
I understand. Because you know what? They coming because one is beautiful. And listen, they coming for the same reasons that we coming. It's beautiful over here. You free over here. There's a lot of opportunity over here. That's why they're coming. The same reason our people should be coming. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why they're coming.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So y'all get to it first. And that brings us to the end of our program, Exodus Radio. I think we want to extend a huge thank you to everybody who tuned in today. Also, our special guest, African Superstar, who joined us earlier. We also want to remind you all to go to the website on the screen, madeinafricaproject.com. Join the Exodus Club for the lifetime membership and ongoing consulting. Buy a brick if you'd like to contribute and have your engraved commemorative brick laid here on the ground in our repatriate communities, and be entered to win a free home in Africa, free land, rent utilities, a flight, a retreat, and other gifts. And also, we have on our website right now where you can purchase a t-shirt. It's Exodus Time, Africa is for Africans, and the Come Home shirts are now on our website. So make sure y'all tap in for those hashtag collection t-shirts. And these t-shirts are, specially made for our folks who are ready for that transition. So if you got the mentality, go ahead and get the shirt, wear it, right? It's Exodus Time, and it's going to keep
raise it up, RJ. Raise the shirt up. Raise the shirt up so we can see.
This is actually another one. This is another custom one I got on here, though.
Okay.
But the ones on the website, it's just like this, but then above it says Africa is for Africans. We have another one that says it's Exodus Time, and then we have another one that says Come Home. All right. Nice. So if you come in to visit, make sure you get your t-shirt first. So when you get here, we get some nice photos of you out at the monument or some of the spots, and connect with the hashtag. All right. So
no doubt.
T-shirts. Go ahead.
Thanks everybody for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing y'all next time. And you can also get a brick at sankofarepack.com. You can go to sankofarepack.com and get your buy your bricks there as well.
And make sure that if you are a member of any organizations or groups that like to support repatriation and Pan-Africanism, or you just want to be a part of it, your church might want to buy a brick. Put your church on there. Reach out to your people. I mean, we started it, and we're not going to stop it. We're going to continue. If we fail, we'll just go back to the drawing books and start over. But this is your movement. This isn't our movement. We're your servants. We're here to make sure that you get where you need to be. So support the cause. Join the Exodus Club. Make sure that you buy a brick. And if you don't buy it, at least spread the word. If you watch the show today, at least share the link. We're not asking you for no money for free. We're asking you to invest in our liberation, invest in our repatriation. So absolutely. Thank everybody. Yo, salute to y'all too, man. Sister Yah, Brother Rashad, man. It's been a good one.
Next week.
Peace, family. I love y'all.
Black Power. Black Power.